All right, so we're adding to this set of notes. For you guys that just joined us, we are adding to the set of notes that we started last time. Last time we left off with the types of sculpture. Today we're adding ways to create sculptures. And like I said, we'll write a little bit. We're going to talk about how to sketch things, and then I'm going to give you something I need your help with. All right, modeling. All right, I'm multitasking. I'm letting people in and trying to do this. All right, modeling is when you build up soft material. And that's where the term modeling clay comes from. And I'll just put in parentheses clay. I mean, that's not the only modeling medium, but for the most part, when you think modeling, you know, like I said, that's where the term came from, modeling clay. You take something soft and you build it up, you shape it, and you work with it that way. The next one, carving. Carving is using tools to remove parts. That are not part of the sculpture. Next, assemblage. Assembling is just when you put together things, put together objects. I mean, it could be anything. And I'll just put adding objects together. I think that's the shortest way I could summarize that. Adding objects together. And then the last one, casting. Let's see if I can find this. You start with the mold. You pour something in it. And you let it cool / harden. And then you remove the mold. Okay, those are 4 ways to create sculpture. Now, out of these 4 ways, us as high school sculpture students, we'll be able to work with the first 3: modeling, carving, assemblage. Casting, you know, it's something that when I think of casting, I'm always thinking of like molten metal and, you know, hot, when you put, heat up metals to a liquid stage and pour it into a mold. So that's something that we cannot do because we don't have the equipment for it. I don't think our principal would want us to be running around with like 2,500 degree liquid metal everywhere. So it's just one of those things that they don't let us do. You know, the last couple of years I've been trying to find a way for us to try casting. So I know of one way that doesn't include metal, but it's like super expensive. So I'm gonna see what we can do this year. But for the most part, modeling, carving, assemblage is what we work with. So today, I just kind of want to talk about how to sketch stuff out. How we need to sketch stuff out. And like I said, sometimes that can be kind of tricky because we have three-dimensional ideas in our head and then we're trying to put them on a blank piece of paper. And we need to draw and put those ideas on paper well enough that we can remember what our idea was, and also that we can show what it's gonna look like in the 3D form. So real quick, and this is just basic stuff, right? All right, so, and for those of you that weren't here, maybe some people didn't get all of this, I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'll post it on Google Classroom. And then you can get it here in a little bit. Okay. And for this part, you can just kind of watch, you can follow along. So for the most part, you have an object that's three-dimensional, right? You know, instead of just being flat, something's gonna have height, width, and depth. And I guess as a plan, as a sketch, we're trying to show like all the way around this sculpture, all the way around, and know what we're going to do. You know, so for the most part, when I'm kind of sketching something out, I might look at putting different views on my paper, like a front view, depending on what it is, side view, top view of whatever it is that I'm going to draw. Now some I might have to sketch like every single side, like side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4 back here, 5. For some, I might just need to sketch out, you know, 3 or 4 different angles because I'll be able to tell what I'm trying to do. So it just depends on what you're building and how many of these angles you need to actually draw. So let me tell you what I need your help with, and then I'm gonna let you guys get to work. This weekend, it was crazy. So now I got a project and I'm thinking, you know what, who better to help me out than maybe sculpture students? Because maybe they have some ideas and they can do a little bit of research and help me out. So my daughter, she was like really sad. She's a junior in high school, and supposedly this year she was supposed to get a show animal because last year she was in FFA, her first year FFA, and this year they told her, I think you'll be able to get a show animal. And she was all excited because she was gonna get a pig, like a show pig. But her FFA teachers told her, you know what? If you don't have land on your own to keep this animal, it might not be a smart idea to get a pig this year, because if something happens and they shut us down, then any animals that are at the school barn, you're gonna have to take them. And you know, unless you have like already a nice ranch or a farm or land where you can put this animal, it might not be a good idea to get a show animal. So my daughter was kind of bummed out, and so we decided not to get a show animal this year. And we told her, well, hopefully things get back to normal next year, and maybe your senior year you can have a show animal. So she was kind of bummed out, and she convinced my wife to let her get a guinea pig instead. So now guess what we have at the house? We have a guinea pig. And this was on, she got it on Friday. One little guinea pig. So then we started doing research. You know, she bought the cage because she got her paycheck from her job, and she spent all her paycheck on getting the cage, the little animal, everything. And then we started doing research, and we found out that these little guinea pigs are like very social animals, and supposedly it's bad for them if there's just one guinea pig, because they get kind of sad and depressed. So they said always have at least 2 of them. That way they can interact with each other. And so guess what we did yesterday? We found another guinea pig that we had to go pick up in Killeen. So yesterday after church, we drove all the way to Killeen because all the pet stores here in Leander are out of female guinea pigs, because you got to put like the same sex together. It has to be female female or male male, because supposedly that's how they roll. So we went and found one in Killeen, and now each one of those little guinea pigs has its own cage. And we were doing some research, and I kind of found out that you can make their own little enclosure. Like you can build something, and instead of having them like caged up, it can be like open, like a little play place for them, like a little home. So I kind of started looking at some videos and got some ideas, but I was like, you know what? It's better if multiple people think ideas, and then, because something I might think about, you might not think about. Or you might have a really good idea that I never thought of, and I'm like, you know what, that's great. And I can incorporate that into this new guinea pig enclosure. So for today, I'm gonna let you do some research. Some people call it enclosure, some people call it a cage, but this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a concept that's open, an open concept. I'm gonna build using wood, and then like for the walls, I kind of want to be able to look inside, so I'm gonna use plexiglass. So that's the only thing I know so far, is that I want like a nice big open concept. I'm gonna be using wood and plexiglass. The other thing, just kind of by a couple of videos that I've seen about the size of it, I decided that I'm gonna use like a half sheet of plywood. So it's gonna be about, and this is kind of, maybe like 4 feet. And then the other length is gonna be anywhere, it's gonna be kind of like a square. It's supposed to be a square. And this is 4 feet. Now my idea is to probably cut this either anywhere between 2 and 3 feet. So it's either gonna be this size or this size. And I'm kind of pulling more towards a 3 foot size, because I think it'll be bigger. It'll be more, I'll be able to put more things in there. So far what I've learned about guinea pigs, that they're very social. They like to interact with humans, and they like to play a lot. So what they need is like things where they can run on, you know, little hiding places, different things that they like. So like I said, I just seen a couple of videos, and today what I want you to do is I want you to help me plan this out. So how are you gonna plan this out? Well, I think for the most part, first of all, you're gonna pick one of these sizes, and then for me, just for this enclosure here, it's probably gonna require like a top view. It's gonna require a side view and a front view. Also, it's gonna require, I think, depending on what you're gonna put in this, Like sometimes they need like little places to hide. So detailed drawings of, I'm gonna call them structures. So a detailed drawing of whatever structures you want to put inside of it. And so that's what I need you to do for, and this is gonna take not only today, but I'm gonna let you work on this today and next class period. If you find any pictures on the internet, you can save those and download them. And the way I need you to work this is with a Google Slide. With the Google Slide presentation. And depending on how much information you have, you know, it could take anywhere from 2 to 4 slides. So as you think of ideas, maybe today you'll look at a couple of videos and maybe start drawing this out. You know, let's say, oh, today I think I have an idea for a drawing, and you start drawing, you know, let's say on one piece of paper like this one right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's say like this piece of paper is your planning piece of paper. And on this one piece of paper, you were able to fit all the sketches. So take a picture of it with your phone, and that could be one of your slides. Like I said, I think one of the things that I think is going to be very important is whatever structures you want to put inside of this, detailed drawing of that structure. Because, you know, let's say back here in this corner, I want to build like a little house. Well, if I'm drawing from a top view, what is this going to look like from the, you know, this is a very important piece of this enclosure. What is this going to look like? So maybe you can, you know, take another piece of paper and show me how this is going to be built. Because I think I'm going to build everything just like I said, out of wood, out of plexiglass, and I think that's something I can do at my house. So and let me ask, and you can go ahead and unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. Does anyone in this class actually have a guinea pig already? Does anyone have a guinea pig pet? No? So, yeah, I mean, you know, right now, these guinea pigs we bought are just in their little individual cages. So hopefully starting this weekend, maybe after schools this week, we're gonna try to introduce these 2 guinea pigs, see if they get along, and then hopefully build them this enclosure so that they can live together. But yeah, this is it. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm going to put all this information on Google Classroom. I will put a picture of the notes that we have so far in case anyone missed anything. I will put a picture of this, but I guess your main objective for today and Wednesday is to create a Google Slides presentation that helps me get your ideas of what a good guinea pig enclosure, guinea pig cage would look like. Like I said, this is something that's gonna be open. Supposedly from what I've seen is if you make the walls like 6 inches, 9 inches, those guinea pigs can't climb out. That's what I understood from this. So the walls aren't gonna be too big. They're gonna be like 9 inches tall. And then those walls, I wanna make them out of plexiglass so we can look inside. Depending on what you're doing, you know, you're gonna have to figure out what drawings you're gonna need for top views, side views, front views. And I would really like if you have some good ideas for any structures you're gonna put in there, to draw detailed drawings of whatever structures those are going to be. but boom. Anyway, does anyone have any questions? So this will be a good way for you to practice drawing. You know, think. Sometimes it's hard to visualize something from a certain angle. You know, but think, what is this gonna look like? If I was gonna change angles, hey, top view, what is it gonna look like? And some of these drawings are gonna be much easier to do than others. I think the easiest one for me, like to visualize and to see and to draw, for the most part, is this top view, because for the most part, you're just gonna have like shapes. I think the hardest drawings to come up with, probably like, for me, it's probably like a side view, because I know what the front's gonna look like. I'm always thinking in front mode. This is what's gonna look like. But if I switch that view to a side view, it might be a little bit different. I think out of all of these, the side view is the hardest one to draw, but those should be okay. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna start posting some of this information on Google Classroom. And like I said, your objective for today and next class is a Google slideshow that anywhere from 2 to 4 slides that shows some of these drawings all together for a concept, what your idea is after doing some research of what an enclosure would look like. I used to when I was little, yeah. Well, we'll see. And then yesterday, my dog, like, we had these cages downstairs, and then I guess these little guinea pigs, like, they all started like running around, and like all you could hear was like the little like feet all over the place. And my dog was like, "What the heck's going on?" And she started like going over there and sniffing at the cage. And my dog, she's good. She's usually good with other animals and stuff, but we're thinking, man, I hope she don't think this is like a rat or something and tries to eat them. But I think it'll be all right. But anyway, I think that's all I have for you guys today. Let me stop this video I'll post this video here in a little bit.